Welcome to Glitch Please, the show where we talk about video games and video game adjacent topics. I'm Adam.
I'm Cole.
I'm Ben, aka the
Went in a weird order there.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff happened this week in gaming. Well, not a lot. Couple good games launched.
Big thing.
Big
Yeah,
thing is Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that today. A couple interesting news stories. But why don't we start with what have you guys been playing?
Oh boy. Picked up Dragon Ball FighterZ.
How is that? Because I hear nonstop good things about that, but there's been at least 2 other games launched this week that I picked up.
Yeah, I'm playing I think all of those games that dropped. But Dragon Ball FighterZ is a lot of fun. It's a very easily accessible intro fighting game. Have you been playing it all, Cole?
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as the ease of play, it definitely seems like the midpoint between Street Fighter and Smash Bros.
Yeah. I
Like
totally
where
can see that.
every character has the same, as far as controller moves, it's all the same. It's sweep up B, sweep up A, sweep up X. I'm playing on Xbox 360 controller and computer, so
Gotcha.
whatever it is for PS4. But
What's the story mode like? Because there's apparently a story mode.
the story is really cool and it's very self-aware. So kind of the story is that Goku and all of the other Z fighters all of a sudden one day wake up and can't move their body. And so there's this being that goes in their body and allows them to fight. And you're the being. And there's clones that show up and you have to fight the clones.
It's a very convoluted Dragon Ball style anime storyline.
But
is the end goal to get the Dragon Balls?
no, they turned to stone.
What good is this fucking game?
That's like at the beginning.
It's a whole thing. I've been playing a little bit of that. The main thing that has its hooks in me is Celeste.
Yeah?
I've
I've
been
been playing a
playing-
lot of Celeste.
I'm playing a lot of Celeste. That game is a lot of fun. It is scratching this is Dragon Ball FighterZ. It's really fun, really accessible, and there's a large roster of characters that feel different enough than,
It's
how big is the roster? Is it like everyone you'd want?
20 some odd
20
characters,
something?
and they've
I'll look
already
it up.
announced 8 DLC characters. And I know those have been data mined already. So
Do they have all the boos?
they have Big Boo and Kid Boo, not Super Boo.
Do they have Cell?
They have Cell,
Cell.
Good.
Frieza.
Frieza, of course.
They got
Obviously, all the main characters.
Yeah, and Yamcha's really good.
Yamcha's good, huh?
Yamcha's one of the best. And
Does it hurt you a little bit to say that, Cole?
Well, no, because I always feel bad for Yamcha because it's he was the first kind of main villain in Dragon Ball. It's he's the first recurring character that shows
Yeah.
up, except for Emperor Pilaf and them. But he's the guy who lasted the longest. But even in the story, he's why do you guys want me to fight with you? I suck.
Yeah.
And Goku's no, you just gotta train more. Come on. And he's are you sure?
Although there's really early in the story, Goku's I love having you around, Krillin. You're a good friend.
He goes, you always have a sensu bean. You can always give me a sensu bean.
I
whenever
gotta
need
have someone
it.
to throw me those sensu beans.
Yeah.
So do they have is there super moves for all the characters? Is there
what?
Is there super moves for all the
Yeah,
characters?
so
Yeah.
so kind of how the controls play out is there's basically your light, medium, and heavy attack. Your A attack is or your A or X attack, depending on what you're playing on, is always a key attack. So it's always some kind of blast, but it's different for each character. So Goku's is just he throws a bunch of little fireballs out. But Krillin's is he fires this 2 beam thing that can either go forward or you can direct it up and it'll land somewhere randomly on the map with
mortar.
an enemy. Yeah, like a mortar basically. So each one of those is different, and then each one has a super move that it's none of the convoluted forward, left, X, A. It's always, I think, quarter circle back.
It's always sweep up, sweep
Left
back, left bumper. Yeah.
Yeah, and but each of the moves are different. So for Goku's, it's he'll warp behind someone, hit them, it goes into the animation. It's just a giant Kamehameha blast. But some of
Boo
them.
turns I think each one has 2, depending on which direction you swipe, or depending
Right.
on what the level. It's depending on what level of super you have at the bottom. There's a gauge of 7. If you have 3, you can do the next one up, and Boo turns them into candy. I think Piccolo has Death Ray.
So it's really easy to
Yeah.
pick up a character and jump into the game, but they all feel different enough, and it's a lot of fun. And they also stick pretty close to the anime. Captain Ginyu's super move is he swaps bodies with the opponent, which is what it is in the anime. But then it's you completely throw off an opponent. So it's
I haven't played as Ginyu yet, but I've heard. Have you played with him?
a little bit, yeah.
So doesn't he just swap in the other members of the Ginyu Force for his attacks?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
So it's like Pokemon Trainer almost from Smash Bros.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But he also he'll I know for most part I played with him a little bit, but just because I want to see what his super ability does. His super ability he does his super move, and then swaps bodies with the opponent. So if like you're playing Goku and I'm playing Captain Ginyu, now you're playing Ginyu and I'm playing Goku. So if you like main Goku, I can make it so
Oh,
you're
you're
not.
actually you're not swapping places.
No.
You're swapping like movesets?
Yes.
That's fucking weird, dude.
Yeah, it's
Holy
weird,
shit.
but it's such a Dragon Ball thing to do.
21 does a lot of that as well, where she'll, like the new character 21, she'll grab people and like steal essence, and then she gets their moves. So depending on who you're fighting, because each fight is 3v3, and so like you're constantly.
She's Kirby?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a good analogy of like it's like Street Fighter meets Smash Bros.
Yeah,
almost.
which I've heard a lot of like Arc System games are kind of like that.
Visually is fucking awesome.
It's amazing. Like Arc Systems does that like
It's very pretty and it plays very well.
Guilty Gear and
Yeah. Well, it's badass.
Yeah,
So,
Celeste.
Celeste is an amazing game.
Celeste is awesome.
How far have you gotten in Celeste?
I am on the final level.
Okay, I'm not that far. I'm
Okay.
probably, I think I'm six missions in, maybe 7 worlds in. I will say that game, so if you don't know what Celeste is, it's a beautiful pixel platformer that focuses on basically just how the character can move. And as you progress the game, the levels will sort of introduce new ways to traverse the world and also new challenges because of those ways to traverse the world. But your basic moves are that you jump, you can hold onto walls, climb the walls, but also you have a dash. And you put all those together for like an extremely tight platformer that's really, really fun to play. But the thing I found is that like the level design is super hit or miss for me.
Yeah.
I got to, like the first few levels were awesome. And then it throws you into this weird level with red balls. And
Yeah.
the red balls just sort of like go in a solid line until they hit something. And
That level specifically feels less like a platforming through like different rooms and like this is an open kind of area world and it's
Yeah.
really easy to get lost.
Yeah.
I got lost in there a lot.
yeah, I think that's part of the problem is that there were so many jutting pathways that you can go to that it wasn't that fun. But for the most part, this game sort of does the Meat Boy thing where the levels are, or not the levels, but the challenges are bite-sized in that you have one screen, you need to get from one end to the other. And if you complete it, it'll take 15 seconds, but like, so you're not going for 3 minutes and then dying and restarting. It's all quick bite-sized things. But then there are sections where it is like, this is a minute or two long run of you have to be perfect and don't, like like one hit you'll die and you have to restart the whole thing, which is a huge pain in the ass, but those sections are still fun.
I love that. I love that aspect, but I'm also like, I love this. When I first saw the trailer for this, I was like, oh, it kind of reminds me of Super Meat Boy. It's basically if Super Meat Boy and Towerfall had a baby, which makes sense because it's by the guy that made Towerfall. But yeah, like it's doing more clever things than I thought it would. Like I really am enjoying just the minuscule story it tells. There's
I
like
wouldn't call it minuscule.
it tells some really cool stuff. Like on
It's a story that dabbles in like questions about mental health and
Yeah.
things like that, which is good.
yeah, but like it's not like it's not pushing. I guess I don't know. It tells a really good story. I'm really really enjoying it. But I'm also really liking like the puzzle design, the layout, and kind of I guess I would call them bosses at the end of each of the chapters.
Yeah. Some chapters have bosses, some don't.
Right.
Yeah, they're interesting. It's that is very Meat Boy-esque to me, where like some of the bosses you're just running away from them while you try to get to the end of the level, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I do like it. That game offers like such a scope of challenge that if you're into challenging platformers, that you'll never be dissatisfied because you can go from the regular levels are hard in themselves, and then there are the B-sides, which are like remixed versions of those levels that are so stupid hard that like unless you really enjoy like masochistic games, which some people do, including myself, you won't like them. And then there's C-sides.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was looking through the achievement list and I saw that they're even after the B side or the C side.
I've never even seen the C-side.
I don't even know what those are, but I think I'm one of those people that is kind of I love the Tough as Nails games. I will probably 100% this. Like, get all the strawberries, do all the tapes.
Yeah, some of those.
Which sounds crazy.
Yeah,
but
some of the collectibles are really hard to get. But that game's really good. It's also a perfect Switch title. It was something I picked up. I was in Nebraska. That game's actually kind of big for what it is. It's like 1.2 gigabytes.
Yeah.
Which I was not expecting. But I downloaded it in Nebraska and I played it all the time over there. And then I played it on the flight home.
I've just been like, I got on the Switch as well, and it's been my like, I'm gonna sit here and play this level real quick it's a really, really good Switch title. It's just like I can go here, sit down, play a level for 2 minutes, move on to whatever I'm doing, and the soundtrack is great.
It is. There's definitely times in that game where I felt like I needed to just put it down for a minute, which is great because you can just turn off the switch and put it in pause and walk away. But yeah, I can recommend that one. But there's other big games this week as well. But I have been playing a couple games. Another Switch game released this week, Darkest Dungeon.
Oh, you picked it up.
It's great. Yes, yeah, I had to. I felt obligated because that game's so good. And I was going on a trip. I think it actually released 2 weeks ago, maybe?
Yeah.
2 Fridays ago, maybe? Something like that. Yeah, it's Darkest Dungeon and it's on the Switch. If you have a Switch, you haven't played Darkest Dungeon, check it out. I've talked about that game ad nauseum, so I won't talk about it anymore.
I actually picked that up as well. I haven't had a chance to play it because Celeste then kind of took its spot.
Yeah, the one thing I will say is that some of the UI is a little hard to navigate because it's smaller in the Switch screen.
Okay.
Like when you take like a PC screen, you like shrink all those. Like there's a lot of UI in that game, and sometimes it's a little small, a little hard to navigate. But
I hear that the touch editions are a very nice like thing in the game.
yeah,
mechanic.
they're welcome.
Cool.
But I got one other thing since I've been here last, and that is I really wanted a solo board game. So I picked up a game called Kingdom Death Monster.
Oh God, I saw your photos.
Oh my God. Ooh. So if you haven't heard of Kingdom Death Monster, it is, imagine it's kind of like Monster Hunter. You are in a world where you need to fight monsters, gather their materials, craft armor, and then take on bigger and better challenges. Okay. So the game sets up and there's a bunch of people that just wake up in a field of skulls and it's all dark. And the game has a story too, which is really nice. Yeah. And then there's this weird lion creature with human hands, and he's just ripping people apart. And then that's how the game starts, is you fight him. And the combat is kind of D&D-esque, where you have character sheets and stats that relate to how your roles execute. Hey, those are my guys that I made.
How many miniatures are there?
I don't know the numbers of miniatures, but there's 7 or 8 bosses and a ton of survivors. There's armor sets in the game, kind of like Monster Hunter, and every armor set has a miniature representation of it, and I believe it has a miniature representation of it for every 4 of those characters.
That's awesome.
And also weapons also have a representation, so you can mix and match. Like if you like a certain armor set and you want to take pieces from one, you can make it all work together.
Okay.
Fucking awesome.
You want to play this now, don't you, Cole?
Yeah.
So the combat works, it's so good, dude. So the combat works like basically you draw from an AI deck. All the monsters first off, the game has like 1,000 cards or something like that. So you draw from an AI deck for every monster. And so it'll tell you first off who it's targeting, and then it'll tell you what it does. And it can be things from like, grab them. Some of them are really thematic. Like the one is like you grab the person in front of you, and then the lion just runs away with it to try to like eat it. And so like then you have to like spend time like chasing it down during your turns. And then when it's the player's turns, they roll, and if they get a hit, they draw a hit location. And then the hit location can determine things like if you fail to hit it, like you have to roll another time when you get the hit location. And if you fail to hit it, then he's going to do like a counterattack. But if you get a critical wound on it, then you can like cut off his hand. And then anytime you draw a move that he would use his hand in, he has a critical wound that is permanent for him. And so he'll have to he'll fuck up and won't be able to do his attack. But then he's like spewing blood everywhere, and all the survivors are like, ah! And he
This straight up sounds like Monster Hunter the board game.
Yes, and then then you get like insane. So the game is all about super difficult, challenging, grinding monsters and getting cool loot. And your characters will die a lot. But the thing is that it's not about the characters per se, because once you beat the monster for the first time, you start a settlement. So every time between fights, you'll go back to your settlement. And the settlement starts, the first thing you do in your settlement is you learn language. And then the survivors start talking to each other and they're like, what are we fucking doing here? We need to kill more monsters so we can get more gear. This shit's crazy.
So it's Civilization meets Monster Hunter.
Right, it's like this is the birth of this weird civilization, and there's a bunch of evil monsters, and they're like really, it's very Monster Hunters meets Dark Souls meets a board game.
This sounds awesome.
Yes. So in your civilization,
I need to get this.
Yeah,
game.
Cole and I keep looking at each other like.
I hate to say this, but the game does cost $400.
All right. Well,
all right.
It was like
you want to go halfsies, Cole?
Yeah,
I'll go in, you go in. We'll maybe sell a kidney.
So when you get to your settlement, you can build up different vendors, things to make gear for you, and you can upgrade those as time goes along. Like things like the lion. There's a specific vendor you can get called the Catarium, and he will build lion gear for you. And you assemble your gear on a gear grid, and the way it's assembled on this 3x3 grid determines like if you get bonuses that will like activate special abilities for you. You can also upgrade your characters in like in certain events, and so like characters will get better, but they do die often, like to the point where you cannot get attached to a single character. Period. And if your characters die, you go back to settlement, and then you have a pool of survivors. That pool can grow, wax and wane. Like if you can have babies in your settlement, but if you run out of people, you restart the whole game. And it's a campaign-driven game. So as time goes on, you have a settlement tracking sheet, and you're tracking the years that go by. And you'll see on the sheet, like at year 4, some dude named the Butcher is coming, and you better be fucking ready. And that's about where I am right now. And the last part of the game is when you go out to fight a monster, there's what's called a hunt phase. And it's pretty simple. Like there's a board that goes left to right, and there's like 10 or so spaces. And every time you'll take a step over and you'll draw a hunt card. And there is a list in the book of 1 to 100 different events. So you'll roll dice 1 to 100, and the event will occur. And it can be stuff from like, you found a sword in the stone. If you draw that sword in the stone, you get a fucking legendary sword. Or it could be stuff like, hey, guess what? All your characters just died. Sucks.
You fell in a pitfall.
Right.
But I've been playing it solo, and it is such a good experience. And as soon the game has like a ton of expansions, and as soon as the expansions come in stock, I'm buying them all because it also has, like you saw, amazing models. So I'm spending all my time like building the models, and eventually I'll be painting them, but I want to level up my painting skill a little bit. See, these are the models that come with the core game. They're beautiful.
Okay, cool. After this, me and you are going to the bank. We're making a withdrawal. We're gonna go sell some blood or plasma or whatever we need to.
So okay, it's single player. Is it also multi?
Oh yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
How many people can play?
4.
4. Okay.
There's technically variants for 5, I think, but you don't want to play with 5. It's up to 4-player game.
So two more questions. One, are you naming your characters after people you know?
Yes.
Okay.
So we had one incident where Grace, my girlfriend, she was fighting the lion, and she threw a stone at the lion and chopped its balls off. And the card said, the lion didn't like that. He's very mad. And no matter what, for the rest of the battle, he went after Grace. So every attack, he's like, ah!
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You said like if you lose a limb and they draw an attack that like relates to that limb, they can't do that attack.
Right.
Are there ball related attacks?
I haven't seen a ball related attack, but maybe there is.
Maybe
a
like comes
teabag
back
in
later
there.
and it couldn't have offspring. Like it's like
My second question is, are there adorable cats that will cook you food?
Nope, it's not an adorable game. It's the most grim, dark, gross game ever. But
that looks awesome.
yeah, it's like my new favorite board game.
Cool, what have you been playing?
I've been playing Monster Hunter, Dragon Ball Fighters, and then also a group of people over at Animation. We've been playing Heroes of the Storm lately.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because we had some people who like wanted to get into MOBAs and just kind of see what it was like.
That's a really good entry level.
Yeah, it's perfect, and like also, how can you not love Blizzard characters?
Right. They've been pushing a lot of Overwatch characters into that game too, right?
Yeah,
Lately,
a lot.
Like,
How
Hanzo,
many
Tracer.
are you buying characters for that game?
I bought one a long time ago. I bought Sylvanas.
Okay.
But she's ridiculous right now. Like in MOBA, like her basic attack can freeze a turret and keep it from attacking you. So it's like
That's pretty broken.
In a MOBA,
yeah.
that's when you're trying to kill turrets, it's a pretty good. It's a pretty good thing to have.
Nice.
So yeah, she's freaking awesome, and I bought her like in beta, or I don't even know if she was out in beta. I bought her a long time ago.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I don't know if y'all played at all, but they do a lot of cool things that I feel like other MOBAs don't do. Like very unique characters. Me and you remember Brian Lee?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been playing Cho'Gall.
Okay.
And so in WoW, Cho'Gall is like the
Two-headed like, ogre guy, right?
Well, so Cho'Gall is a two-headed ogre in the game as well. And it's 2 people controlling one body.
Oh, that's really cool.
Does it take up 2 character slots?
Yeah.
What?
But
That's interesting.
he's stronger, like he has more health than anybody else. And so like what happens is one of you is the physical side and can like as you move around you're the person who clicks, you're the person who punches, throws bombs.
You're all the melee. And
Yeah,
like,
all the melee. He is the mage head, and he controls the other arm that shoots magic while you're doing that. So while you're
Dude.
walking away, he can be throwing spells.
So is he like in a 1v1, is he always going to win? Since
Yeah, probably. I mean, as long as your people are competent enough. Like, if you're just kind of sitting there and another person knows how to like kite you and get away from your attacks as the physical side, or if you're the mage and I mean like there's Sergeant Hammer. So if you're outranged, but in any competent fight, he should win.
Wow.
I can imagine how that must be over voice chat, or you're just like,
Oh, it's
yelling
hilarious
at your partner.
because there's also moves that like when you throw the bomb, the other head has to ignite it. Oh. So you throw it and it's like rolling at people, and you're like, oh, I threw the bomb, blow it up now. Also, there's like an aura that you can change that's either you take less damage or you do more damage and heal yourself. And so you're constantly having to flip between that, because if you turn off that aura, you're taking more damage.
Okay.
Dude, that sounds awesome. I don't even want to play MOBAs, but I want to control a character with a friend at the same time. That sounds fucking awesome.
It's hilarious. And like, of course, Blizzard, their attention to detail, much as Cho'Gall is a combination of the Ogre Cho and the Ogre Gall, it combines your player names. So it's like, come on, like this is perfect.
It's fucking awesome, man. Goddamn.
But yeah, just been grinding through that and
Very nice.
playing that.
I might have to jump back into that.
Well, have we all been playing Monster Hunter?
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about Monster Hunter, hunt monsters? Man, Monster Hunter is goddamn the best game I've played in so long. And I'm not a Monster Hunter guy. I've tried one Monster Hunter before.
I've never played either.
I've tried Monster Hunter on the 3DS, and I found it to be...
It was hard on the 3DS.
It was hard to control, was one of my biggest problems. Secondly, it had the steep learning curve.
Yeah.
And it sort of like throws a bunch of shit at you, and it's like, go do it. And you're like, oh man. And then like the resounding sentiment about that game that I had heard was like, you need to play with friends. But then that game didn't have online play, it just had local co-op.
Yeah, I think the second 3DS one, they added online play, but it was, I mean, on a 3DS, it's convoluted. It's like,
Totally.
How do you get through their system in one piece?
But as a new player, that game is extremely accessible. I spent the first hour like really intimidated. Like I played the beta, and first off, the beta for someone who has not played Monster Hunter pretty much wasn't worth playing.
Yeah, it was
because all it does is throw you into a mission, and you, like there's like a timer, and you're like, what am I doing? And you're like, here are these monsters right in front of me. Do I fight these ones?
Yeah.
And you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah,
And that's how kind of how my experience went. Was like I don't know what I'm doing.
the beta, like it pretty much felt like it just served to test servers.
Yeah, and
Because even for like, I've been playing since 1 on the PS2, and even then it's like, it got rid of one of the most fun parts, customizing your character.
So you've experience with Monster Hunter?
Yes.
Okay.
And so yeah, like when the beta came out, it was hard for new people to pick up, and it didn't like really service what we were wanting, because we were like, I want to build my armor.
You're just picking a default weapon and then going out, right?
Yeah, like there's only one element type for each one, so like if you're fighting something that's weak against fire and you want to use the longsword, too bad. Like you're
Yeah.
not
But it turns out that game's real good. I was kind of apprehensive. I wanted to give it a shot because like preview material for it looks so good, and like people love that series, and I've always wanted to get into it. And it took me like the one thing I'll say about this game is that the main story really takes you through the systems. And after the first few missions, I was like, oh, I get this. Okay, the little Jagras, they're little baby monsters. You don't have to worry about them so much. Big Jagras, that's a bigger monster. You got to hit that guy a lot.
Yeah.
Then it introduces you to like the one monsters that like have a rock in their head or like a hard head, and so when you hit them, you bounce right off. So you have to figure out how to get around them.
weak points.
Right, and then it teaches you about. I think the next one is.
The Pukey? Is that the next one?
No, I think it's the one that steals the egg. Well, it's like a very agile monster. And then the Pukey teaches you about poison, things like that.
I think because I'm at the Pukey, or however you pronounce it. So I'm not super far into the game, mostly because part of it was I spent like an hour and a half just messing with all of the weapons.
Yeah.
And the other part was just kind of like I read through a bunch of the wikis so I can understand like what's this meter and what do these items do? What's a whetstone? When do I need to use it? Because it's like it's a very fun game, and they drop you into that hub world in the beginning, and kind of just there's that. This is where you can buy weapons. This is where you can get items. All right, go for it. And so I've spent a lot of time just trying to learn the UI and the system. So I'm at that beginner phase of I really want to play this a lot more, and I can already see where it's going to hook me, and that's all I'm going to play for the next like 2 or 3 months. But for right now, like I'm still doing a lot of learning, so I kind of understand that steep entry curve.
Yeah, I feel like I had a friend just sort of tell me some stuff preliminarily, and just told me to follow the story and sort of explain a couple things that they didn't talk about so much. And I felt like that was a great primer because I was able to get right into it. And I think I'm like 15 to 20 hours in now, or maybe not 20, but probably closer to 15 to 16. But God damn, that game is so good. And it has like the carrot on the stick so good.
Yeah.
Because every time you kill a new monster, you go to the smithy and you're like, all right, Smithy, what do you got for me? And he's like, check out what you can make potentially is a whole set of armor. And it's like, what do you got for my kitty cat? He's like, check it out. Another set of armor for kitty cat.
Kitty cat gets me armor.
It's
And
so satisfying.
And as you're progressing, it like shows you that new set of armor. And then there's one item on that armor that you haven't gotten yet. So you got to go fight the next monster to get that new armor, and then you get that new set.
Yep.
But there's one item like it's constantly that.
Yeah, to me, this game is like Dark Souls meets Destiny, in that like it has the Destiny hub world, it has the Destiny like.
Well, it's hardly there's the gathering hub, but like I never go to that because every time I go, it's like a 5-minute loading screen and there's no one there. I'm like, all right, fuck it.
Okay.
I wish it did have people running around in Astera.
Okay. Sure.
You know, because you go there all the time and it's just this nice little hub world. It's beautiful. There's a canteen to hang out in. Like, why couldn't they have people?
That'd be really cool. I didn't know. I wasn't aware that there wasn't people, just because I haven't had a chance to really dive into it at all.
No, so there is a gathering hub you can take the elevator to, but it's a separate little ship thing. And I've only ever seen like one person there. I'm not saying that there are people there, but I think there's been some network problems.
Yeah, and I mean I've only been playing with squads.
What are you playing on?
What?
PS4.
PS4. Okay.
There was one convoluted thing that I didn't figure out till yesterday, where you know when you go to the quest board, you can join a quest.
Yes.
And if you join a quest, you can look for assigned quests. And every time I would do it, it'd be like, "There's no assigned quests." And I'm like, "How is there 5 million people playing this game and no assigned quest to play?" Then I realized like you have to join a session with like up to 16 other people, and they have to post a quest, which to me. It's like one extra step that there should, like, it should just be like, I post a quest, anyone in the world can join it.
That seems like a very Japanese game thing to do, though. Like in terms of you like finding those 16 people and
But I also haven't found like a huge session. Like the first time I played, I had a session of 4 people and no one joined my quest.
From what I understand, like the one gripe with the game right now is how the networking is being handled, and
Yeah.
they've been working very hard. Apparently, a patch was released, I think this morning or
Last
yesterday
night.
afternoon. Yeah, last night for Xbox One players that fixed a lot of their matchmaking issues.
PS4, like when I went to play last night, I had to update.
Oh,
and yeah, I know that they're constantly trying to work
Yeah.
to like they also like heard everybody griping about how to join a multiplayer session, which I think is a little convoluted, but I think people are making it sound a lot worse than it actually is.
I've had great luck using the SOS flare for random people.
Yeah.
And I've also had good luck doing co-op with my friend.
Yeah.
The one thing, there is a convoluted step to that though. And if you're doing an assigned mission and there's a cutscene in the mission, until that cutscene actually plays, you cannot join your friend.
Yeah.
So like if you're ahead of him and like the cutscenes generally happen like when you approach the monster and you're about to fight. So like I'd be in party chat with my friend and he'd be like, all right, I'm approaching the monster, and like it has to go through the whole cutscene. And then as soon as the cutscene's over, like I can join, but there's like a good minute where it's like loading the quest and then I have to depart.
And if you both are on that quest right now, you both have to watch that cutscene. So you have to go into your own mission, watch that cutscene, and if you want to play with them, hop out and hop in their game.
Right.
It sounds a lot worse than it is.
Okay.
Well, it's not. I mean, that part of it just seems.
It's annoying.
I just want to be able to launch a co-op game with my friend.
Yeah.
Because if you beat a mission with your friend, you can watch the cutscene at the end.
Yeah.
Like there's we just did the one for the Agenath, and there's an end cutscene.
They have said they're working on that. They've said that they hear that this is a kind of bad way to do it.
Yeah.
And they're wanting to figure out how they can make it better.
Yeah, that game has like a lot of surprising little things. Like, what's that?
Oh.
That's my next question. Is so like one thing that they're doing very well is like I love that they are like, all right, cool. Here's all of the weapons. Here's a playground. See which one you like. So like I chose the longsword because I just like katanas. I had a really hard time deciding between. I spent a good 30 minutes. I was like, do I want the longsword or do I want the bagpipes? Because the bagpipes look like they could be a lot of fun.
Bagpipes are really fun when you have like a solid group of people you're playing with because essentially you're buffing them the entire time.
Yeah. So I mean, what do
you play bagpipe solo?
You can because you're buffing yourself. You're buffing yourself.
Is there a weapon that goes along with bagpipes? I haven't tried them out.
No, I mean your bagpipes are a hammer.
They're
So
like,
you play it.
They're like huge, and they sit on your shoulder. I just imagine you like running from a dinosaur, bagpipe on your
So
shoulder.
silly.
You like bring the hammer down, and then while it's down here, you then reach
That's
forward and blow
so
into it and play
silly,
it.
dude.
And like it
the
gives
main reason I wanted to play
you
it.
defense buffs, armor, like attack buffs, resistance buffs. I think it works. It's functional in single player. I think it works a lot better in multiplayer, just because while you're buffing somebody, they can be attacking the monster.
Right.
Rather than that time that you're stopping having to play to get that buff, you can get attacked. And then I haven't played bagpipes in a while because I know it's like you're kind of doing combos with your bagpipe playing. So you're like giving different buffs every time you play it.
Gotcha.
That's cool. So what are you guys' main weapons, or what are you playing with?
Well, funny you should ask that. Give me 1 second.
Oh, Adam. Ashley's gonna come back to no table. Oh, that is so pretty. I like that I barely poke over the teeth at the edge of the sword.
So, I made my decision before the game came out.
Literally made your decision.
Yeah, me and Marcus built this for our show, and it now hangs in my office. But yeah, I play the greatsword for obvious reasons. It's dope, and it has teeth.
I like that. That's always your decision making.
I'm gonna lay it down here.
Which,
Oh, God.
in all honesty, that like this sword, or like the version of this sword in the first game, was the reason that my brother and I bought this game.
Really?
It was like we saw the cover, we were like, you could get that in a game? Like, yes! So we bought it and then like found out how hard it was, and our little brains were just like, okay, well, we gotta try to get that sword. That's the end game, is getting that sword.
So how does the sword work in the game? Like,
It's extremely slow, but I'm learning more that there's a lot of, they don't actually tell you most of the combos. Like if you go to the training area, it'll tell you a few things, but there's a lot of stuff that is not surfaced to you, and probably the easiest way to learn is go online. But I've become adept at least using my charge attack, and so basically for me what I do is I go after tails and like other weak points, but mainly tails or heads. So I put my weapon away, I run in, and I do a charged attack, or I do like an upwards attack, and I try to get as many charged attacks in as I can, and then I run out. There's way better ways to play this character, but for me it's like you run in, you get some good hits, you run out.
Okay.
And there's also one move I discovered that if you have the monster near a hill, you can run down the hill and start sliding, and then you do an upwards attack where you fly up into the air, then you do a downward stab where it stabs through the monster, and like for every like couple feet it hits the monster, it goes like it gets another hit in. Super satisfying. And the trailer is the reason we made this sword, because I saw it and I was like, holy shit, that's a great sword. Because goddamn.
such a pretty game.
You can see that it only has one handle
Yeah.
part in the trailer, but I think when you pick it up, it extends.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think when you unsheath it.
So the next step for this sword is you make it compact so you can bring it places. Surprise people.
Fold it all down, take it to cons.
Yeah, I'm trying the longsword, and I'm still getting used to it, but I've practiced with it a lot, and it seems like a lot of fun. I kind of also want to try, what's the lancer type?
Gun lance?
Gun lance?
Not the gun lance. Maybe it is the gun lance. It's the one that like you are very acrobatic and you
Insect
can
glaive.
throw at.
Oh,
yes.
insect glaive, yeah.
Yeah.
That one seems like a lot of fun, but
That one seems crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're just flying around.
super mobile.
That's the Adjunath. He's a dick.
He is no fun. No, he's fun.
How far have you gotten, by the way?
I beat the Adjunath. I got to essentially the Great Ravine.
Yeah, I've gotten to the
I'm-
Great Ravine. You passed. You got to the part where you're actually in the Great Ravine.
I have the expedition to go in the ravine now.
Got it.
And
We're about the same.
instead, like, I've been playing just going on missions and that, like, kind of what we've been saying. There's a lot of stuff that is not really shown at the beginning, or even like explained to you, or maybe it is, and I'm just like, nah, I know everything and click through it. But so there's those bounties that you can turn in.
Yeah.
Well, along with those bounties, if you go and talk to that same group of people, there's also investigations.
Right. And they're like just separate missions to fight specific monsters.
Yeah.
To primarily just to get the rewards from those monsters.
And it's randomized, like which ones will be there. So if you ever want to fight a specific monster, go and check there first, because it will offer more rewards than just the optional mission.
And those are timed, right? Like you can.
All
all
the
the
missions are
time?
timed except for expeditions.
Yeah.
Or by timed, I mean like there's. If you move forward in the story, some investigations will disappear.
I think
they maintain, because
Do they?
I assigned all mine, and I have like 400 investigations to do.
I think as long as you assign them, they're good. I've heard somebody was telling me last night that they do randomize, like maybe like daily. I don't know. I could be misspeaking, but I've heard like, oh yeah, go check those every chance you can get, because you get a lot of extra mats for it.
Cool.
So the game has one thing that will put a lot of people off, and my best friend who I play games with almost didn't buy the game because of this reason, and it's that everything is timed except for expeditions. So like any mission you go on, and it's a 50-minute timer. I think all of it's 50 minutes. I haven't seen anything that's less. And 50 minutes is a super long time.
Yeah.
But having that looming threat of like, what if I get them, like, we were fighting the Agenath last night it took us half an hour to beat it. And it was an incredible, like, it was such a battle. Like we got 2 feints, and we only had 1 feint left.
Yeah.
And there was just so much crazy shit that happened. Like my friend went and hid in the cave, and he's like, "You can't come in the cave, don't worry." And then the Agenath was like, "Oh, I can come in there." And he like got down, he's like, he runs through the cave, and it's just like all you hear is like your friend screaming. And it's like it's so tense and so much fun. But if we had gotten 40 minutes into that battle, we'd be like, "Oh my God, we're gonna run out of fucking time." And that to me, I mean, as a Monster Hunter person, why is there so much time stuff? There's timers for the missions. Yeah. After you beat the monster on a quest, there's a 1-minute timer, and the quest just ends. So if you haven't, like, it's not likely that you wouldn't have, but if you haven't scavenged the monster you just killed, it's gone.
Well, that's happened a couple times when playing with friends, the friend will die like maybe right before the last hit.
That sucks.
And so they get spawned, and they're like, I have no idea how to get back. And so they're trying to run back, and they miss the... I don't have a good answer as to... I mean, that's been like that since the first one. It
just seems like it seems like such a weird implementation, especially because most of the monsters you'll beat in less than 50 minutes.
Also, the expeditions aren't timed. However, the monsters in there are.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you don't know... They don't have... You don't have a good way to tell when they're going to disappear.
Yeah.
But it'll, like, every time we start fighting a monster, or not every time, but a lot of times we'll start fighting a monster, and it'll say, "Hey, that monster's going to depart soon." It's like, what the fuck? I'm fighting it.
Yeah. And then you damage him enough to where he walks away.
Yeah.
And he disappears.
Right. They did make an addition to this game that wasn't in previous Monster Hunters, I believe, is the Scout Flies.
Yes.
And those, I feel like people were complaining that are like diehard Monster Hunter fans that were like, you can't put in a thing that will tell you where stuff is. That's just stupid. And it's great.
I as a long-time Monster Hunter fan, I agree with you. Especially since because the old Monster Hunter, the zones were much simpler. It was like, also every zone was instanced. So it was like, zone 1 on the map. Okay, you have to go through a loading screen to zone 2. You have to go to loading 3 to zone 3. So now it's one open world.
Right,
which is
that's
cool.
another addition that as a new Monster Hunter player, I didn't know that, but I watched a review that told me or said that. Yeah. And they're like, here's all this weird shit that used to be in the game that made it super convoluted. Yeah. And it's like, I didn't know Scout Flies were a new thing. I didn't know that loading screens were a new thing. I didn't realize that like the level design of this game is incredible.
And so with there being so many, each map is huge, as well as it's vertical, both like above ground and underground.
Right, and there are pathways you would completely miss because they're just like, oh, there's some vines, but you can squeeze through the vines.
Yeah, I was doing a hunt the other day. I think it was like I was doing a optional hunt where you had to kill 2 great jaggies, and it took me like 30 minutes to find the trail for one, just because I hadn't paid attention to before. I was just like kind of hopping in and going for it. So it was like, okay, I'm gonna fail this because I killed the first one immediately, and now I can't.
The second one too.
And now it's like up in this area, and I was talking with somebody on Discord while I was playing, and they were like, "Oh, it's up in Zone 6." I was like, "I've never been to Zone 6."
Yeah.
Is it? Am I wrong to assume that as you play through adventure story, like the main story missions, it'll unlock other portions of the map? Is that correct? Or are they always available to you?
It'll unlock different areas. So like the ancient forest you unlock the areas in the ancient forest by visiting them.
Okay.
But then as the story progresses, there are more levels like the ancient forest where it's a separate world or a separate map to explore, and just as in depth and
A
things
separate
like
map
that.
of 12 zones.
If you didn't know, I didn't know this until last night, but in the bottom left of the screen, not on the map itself, but on the UI, it'll tell you what monsters are around, and you can track them that way.
Yeah.
If you have enough information, and that's the other thing is like you have to like build up your scout flies to be able to track stuff by like encountering evidence of those things.
Yeah.
It's so fucking cool, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be playing this game for a while. One of my gripes as a new player, though, is the control scheme. How do you guys feel about that?
It's not for me. It's not the control scheme as much as it is there is not just animation priority, but there's action queuing, which means like I can queue up my third attack before I've even done my second attack.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'll do my second charge attack and need to leave, but I've mashed the button or something.
Yeah.
And it's committing to my second charge attack, which is like a good 10-second animation where he goes, "Whoa," and he does this and he flips and it's like you're getting yourself screwed there. But
That I'm still getting used to, but like I'm still finding myself like dashing it into an enemy, ready to do an attack, and for some reason I'm still in maybe like Bloodborne mode where I hit right R1 and I sheath my weapon right as I'm going in to attack someone.
That's the thing is I'm also doing a co-op run through Dark Souls 3 right now. So I'll be playing and like, nope, okay, that's not bumper.
Yeah. Item use is fine for me. It's on square, which is where it is for Estus. But I don't know. I'm okay with the scheme.
Yeah.
There's the weapons take some time getting used to because especially the greatsword. You think of a greatsword being pretty slow, but man, is it slow in this game. But it's really fun when you hit stuff.
Yeah.
It's so satisfying and tactile. And I've gotten used to the controls now where I can reliably do the attacks I'm trying to do. Playing the minigame where you jump on an enemy's back is fun. I haven't gotten to capturing enemies yet, but I really want to try.
It's a lot of fun. It's harder.
Yeah.
Because it's like, because this entire game is learning more about your enemies.
Right.
It's learning more about, okay, where do I hit it? What's it weak against? Even to the point, like, what's its trail? I mean, I'm hopping into this map. I know that this creature normally spawns at zone 6, and this is the path it normally takes. Where is it going to end up? Like, where is its nest? So when I weaken it the most, I can have set a trap there already, or can run ahead and prepare, or know that it's going to go sleep here. So now is when I can whetstone up and get ready.
It just kind of comes with experience, knowing the game.
The knowing more about your enemies thing is really cool because as you find more tracks and evidence of the monsters that you're following, you go back to town, talk to the researcher, and he'll update your field monster guide, and that will basically tell you like, hey dude, this is what you found about this monster. Like here, its weak points. If you want to hit it here in the tail, its short stubby arms, those are weak, and then here are all the parts that you can break off for extra materials, and that stuff always leads to like you get more shit, which is great. And then it'll tell you a description of the bottom right will tell you like some good ways to approach him, and it's just like it's so fun to like discover that stuff. Like the first time you fight a monster, every time it's like this is very scary and I'm scared.
Yeah.
But then
Filling out the field guide is going to be one of my favorite things to do as I play through the game.
Yeah, it's really really satisfying.
Especially since like while you're hunting a monster, I feel like they do this really well. You always see the next monster you're gonna fight. Like
that. So if you don't know what the Adjunath is, it's basically a giant T-Rex with like wingy
it's like
things.
a vulture T-Rex almost.
But I was fighting the Great Jagras, which is like really the first big monster you fight, and I just followed him into a cave, and to my left, it's like all of a sudden giant head pops out and giant roar, and it was such a pants shitting moment of like ah! and then it's so funny because when you turn and run, your character has the animation of the way you're feeling.
Yeah.
Like, ah! Which is great.
And then like when you're finally like you work up to that Adjunath hunt, you're like, okay, I'm ready to fight him. And then all of a sudden, a giant winged dragon comes flying from the sky. It's like, I'm just now able to take care of this dude. How am I going to take care of this thing?
Right. That game does a great job of like, here's looming danger.
Yeah.
Here's what's going to fuck you next.
Yeah.
The way it intros that first, like the intro cutscene, and that monster, I'm really excited to finally reach that point where I can fight that thing.
Well, the great thing about that is when I finally did it last night with my friend in co-op, it was a 30-minute like epic battle that matched the build-up. Like that guy's been like a source of fear for me for like 10 hours now, and I finally got to fight it. It was so worthwhile and so much fun. And then you can get cool armor now for that guy.
Sweet.
Some cool shit.
Your cat gets cool armor.
Dude.
The cats.
There's what are they called? There's in the world there are other cats. You can find these like secret colony of cats, and they will give you quests, and then they will help you out. That shit's awesome.
I love
like
the palicos.
it's stuff that you might not find.
Yeah.
But like if you do, it's great.
And it's like there's different types of them in the world as well. Like, I mean, I'm used to like the ones who's like, we're just gonna help you fight. Like we're attacker palico. We're gonna. And then like yesterday, I was kind of walking around and I saw one who just kind of by himself. I'm like, oh hey little guy, what's up? And he's like, I'm a gatherer palico. So while we're running around,
He's just picking shit up.
I see that mushroom over there. I get that for you. Like
That's
So, does the game make you guys want to eat? Because those eating animations, the palico cook
yeah,
up.
I watch that animation every time.
That's another thing is there's so much little attention to detail. All those little cutscenes are fucking incredible.
Yeah.
I cheered the first time I saw that
Yeah,
Palico one.
put the little thing down.
Yes. It's like the little Arab's like,
The cutscene where they're making
Oh, here
like
it
the
is.
turkey.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
you cook that fish.
And then he's so happy to be cooking.
Everyone's
Yeah.
so happy with their
Hey,
jobs.
there it is.
Like,
Perfect
He
placement.
did it, and then you eat it, and you're like, yes, hell yes.
You go to town
And you
on
and your
that
cat
thing.
are both chewing and loving it. Yeah.
Always eat before a hunt.
Yeah. Is there? So is it as a Monster Hunter professional? Is there a reason to like? I sometimes just eat raw meat, but is there a reason to eat raw meat if you can do the canteen food? Because canteen food always provides more, or not raw meat. I eat well done steak, but is there any reason to do that if you can just do canteen food?
I think I think even if you do canteen food and you go into the world, I think it still boosts your stamina.
Right. But I'm saying like canteen food seems better than well done steak, or is that like you do that at the beginning of the mission and as your buff runs off, you eat? Okay, got it. Yeah, the game also right now. I don't know if you're playing on PS4.
PS4. Yeah.
There's an optional quest that expires the 8th of February that will give you Palico Watcher armor from
Horizon.
Zero Dawn.
Okay, yeah, I definitely gotta
and
jump on that.
also a weapon from them. But later there's going to be another Horizon Zero Dawn quest that will give you Aloy's bow and
Sweet.
armor.
Yeah, I'm loving everybody taking their palicos and like trying to model it after their own cats. Like I found one that was like, I think I walk into my hometown area and the palico comes in and sits down. I was like, I have an exact photo of my cat sitting like that.
Right.
And just like, I'm gonna make him as fluffy and black as I possibly can.
If I have one request for you, Capcom, it is, or maybe two requests. I have a spotty cat at home. His name is Solaire. He's a Bengal, and I love him. And he was sitting there while I was making my Palico, and he's being such a good boy. And I said, I'm going to make my Palico look just like you, buddy. And you can't, because there's no spots. There's no leopard print. Give me some leopard print. That's all I want. I'll pay for it. DLC, $2. I'm in. And also maybe some better beard options, because they're a little sad, the beard options.
Yeah, they already don't care about clipping, so why
Right.
not just let the beard?
Right.
Free the beard.
Yeah. God, what a fantastic game. I had to rip myself away from it last night.
Yeah.
Because I would just have kept playing it.
You got
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. 2 a.m. was like, okay.
What's the end game like? Like, is there? I haven't looked into any of that at all. Like, is it? Because pretty much Monster Hunter is prep gear and food,
You just fight bigger monsters.
fight bigger monsters.
Yeah.
Well, there's something called like high rank, right?
Mm-hmm.
People, I see a lot of people refer to high rank.
Yeah.
So that happens at like rank 11, right?
Yeah.
11 or 12, and that's when a lot of the game opens up, apparently. And I'm assuming that's like towards the end of the story. Or,
I think so, yeah.
So apparently, like there's an achievement I saw for like level 99 hunter rank or level 100 hunter rank.
All right.
So there's a lot of game there.
I'm looking forward to I keep comparing it to like Destiny meets Dark Souls, and I know there's more to it than that, but like I'm ready for all right, let's get 3 friends together and let's just tackle this huge ass monster.
The
and just-
co-op
Yeah.
in this game,
that's my Palico and that's my cat.
so awesome.
Oh yeah, man, I freaking love those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to get some friends together and just like let's hunt giant monsters. Let's take down Godzilla.
Yes.
It's a little bulky, but it's the perfect LAN game, like LAN party.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, well-
like, we had a couple friends come over this past weekend, and it's bulky. You got to get the
Yeah.
TVs.
LAN parties are hard.
But then when they got over, it was just like, okay, we could just like talk in the room and like we're hunting together. We're like,
Sounds like we might need to maybe.
my best friend is visiting next week,
Yeah.
and I have 2 PS4s, so maybe I'll set up a LAN and we'll play. I'm so excited.
Sounds like we might need to maybe like rent out a conference room.
Yeah.
Got some important business meetings to get to, man.
On some Mons.
All right. Well, that's Monster Hunter. It's a great game. What do you guys say we talk about some news? All right. So
News.
The news. So first up this week, Microsoft's not doing so hot. Having some problems with exclusives, and we're getting some speculation that maybe Microsoft's gonna to fill the void in their money hole. That's what they call it.
Yep.
Maybe they're going to be buying up
It's a technical term.
some publishers, and people are thinking, what if they buy up Valve? What if they buy up EA? What if they just own all of PC gaming by buying Gabe Newell? Who can buy Gabe Newell though, really? But so yeah, that's what else do you know about that?
I mean, that's pretty much it. There's a lot of like speculation from analysts that Xbox is currently looking to pick up some more publishers because they are aware and have made it a statement that they are having some issues with exclusives on the platform. So there have been a lot of speculation that like who could they buy? Like EA's probably in the running, and it's going to cost a ton of money. But
Do you really think like Microsoft has the potential to buy EA? I mean, they're obviously a big company, but
for EA, yes, and I think kind of it makes sense. But I don't know. I feel like that's going to be like we're going to start these talks and then it's going to not end well.
Yeah, because how I see that working out is EA's most important title is FIFA. And what does the world own? Xboxes or PS4s?
Right now, PS4s.
And so
I think there's something came out that right now it's like PS4s are like double like the console. It's pretty much 2 to 1.
And then like, or even like worldwide, what has a wider reach? PS3 or PS4 or Xbox 360?
Sure.
So as long as like they're wanting to continue being just a money hole themselves from FIFA, I don't see them like closing off that unless it's like we still get to make FIFA.
Well, okay, so some of the things EA has are like Battlefield. They have Dead Space, which I'd love to see Dead Space come back. Yeah. Mass Effect, Dragon Age, Titanfall. But like most of the value is held in licenses like Star Wars and like the sports titles.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, EA's on the table for kind of some of the speculation.
well, EA only owns a Star Wars license for so many more years, right?
Correct.
Until what, 2020?
2020, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, by the time that deal goes through, they might not have it anymore.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, like EA's mentioned, Valve was mentioned, PUBG's core, whatever their
I can see
studio's
PUBG.
named.
Yeah. Blue Hole or
Blue Moon,
Blue money hole.
Blue money hole. Yeah, which pretty much is what PUBG is right now.
Well, I mean,
it's just a money hole.
Yeah, I mean, I could see some of the smaller, like that's a developer right now. I guess they self-publish their own game, but I don't know. I can't really see Microsoft being able to. I don't see Valve selling at all to anyone. All they do is print money. They dominate the PC game market. They get 30% of all sales on Steam, which adds up to quite a few dollars. And like, why would they give any of that up just for a payout? Yeah. When right now they can operate their company independently, make a ton of money, pay all their employees to coast.
Well, like I mean, here's the thing though: is like if they were to purchase Valve for any reason, then they have pretty much the whole market on PC gaming, outside of maybe like Blizzard and BattleNet. They would be able to maybe put out, dare I say it, Half-Life 3, Portal 3. Like
if Microsoft tried to put out Half-Life 3, I would shoot myself because it would
be
the
nothing
worst
like what it usually
iteration.
is.
Yeah, right.
It would be nothing like what the original idea of Half-Life was, but they would have the ability to finally put out things like Half-Life 3, Portal 3, any kind of crossovers between the two that they would like.
Yeah.
Team Fortress, I believe, as well. Which I mean, they've put out what is the Orange Box that had that bundle beforehand and did pretty well on the console. That's a possibility. They've also talked about Take-Two, which they tried to buy, I think, a decade ago, and that fell through as well. But it's another possibility.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens with that. I'm not. That's like a speculation story.
Right. Like Microsoft has to do something to get exclusives under their belt, and like right now they're trying to crank out like Sea of Thieves, which there's been a lot of cool gameplay on.
They're doing bizarre shit though.
They are.
Like, they're any exclusives they have are completely negated by the fact that they have Play Anywhere because I'm never going to play it on an Xbox.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I'll buy the exclusives, but I'm not buying your hardware, that's what they want. They want you in their ecosystem, but I'm not there.
Right.
So it's really weird to me.
Yeah.
But how about a non-speculation story?
Go for it.
Couple games are shutting down. Gigantic and Paragon. Gigantic's sad.
Gigantic is sad.
You know,
I remember
saw
seeing
that game a lot at PAX's.
Yep. They pushed that hard.
So Gigantic is a MOBA. It launched July 2017, and it announced this week that July 31st is last day.
Made it a year.
They said specifically the game is a unique and exciting experience that captured many hearts and minds. Unfortunately, it did not resonate with as many players as we'd hoped, which is sad.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of came on the tail end of the MOBA genre, I would say.
Has such a cool art style too.
Such a cool art style. And the thing about Gigantic was it wasn't just a MOBA, right?
Right. It was like, I mean, I think it's
I think that's the problem. Is the perception around the game was like it's just a MOBA.
Yeah.
right. Like I tried to play it, and it was kind of like I actually play a lot of MOBAs, like League, Dota 2, Heroes of the Storm, but I couldn't quite get into Gigantic. From what I understand of the premise, was that basically it is the same MOBA of like you have enemy base and your base, but each of the enemy bases are these giant monsters that rotate around the map, and occasionally will fight each other as you do damage to them. And there's like certain phases you go through. I played the beta a little bit, and it just didn't hook me as much. I actually, like Cole mentioned earlier, I hadn't even realized the game had come out.
Yeah, I'd heard about Gigantic for a long time. I was like, oh, that looks like a cool game. I might play it when it comes out. And now it's been a year.
It's
You
been
still got
out
a
for
chance.
7 months.
Apparently, they're going to put out one final update that I think is going to release like a new champion, and then 3 months later, they're shutting down the servers.
Yeah.
That is a shame. Also, Epic announced that they're shutting down Paragon in April, so it's very soon. So you got like maybe 3 months to play it, maybe 2.5 months or so.
The critically acclaimed Paragon. I didn't even touch that one.
I mean, visually, beautiful game. But that was, I believe, mostly just a MOBA. Their quote was, after careful consideration and many difficult internal debates, we feel there isn't a clear path for us to grow Paragon into a MOBA that retains enough players to be sustainable. I feel bad for Epic. I feel like they're swinging and missing a little bit here.
Yeah.
But Fortnite's doing good, so.
Yeah, that's actually, I think, one of the reasons why Paragon is shutting down is because like Fortnite kind of came out of nowhere and was a huge success for them as far as I can tell. And that they were like, we want to focus more of our efforts on Fortnite and that whole Battle Royale Minecraft mashup. And
I think it's doing great.
it's doing really good. People love that.
Yeah, it's a shame. I don't know anyone that plays Paragon, though, so I don't know. Maybe that's the problem.
We had a few people playing at Extra Life, but I think like in front of it looked really cool. But not a lot of people were into it.
I also have to wonder how many of these like not well-established MOBAs are like, I mean, because all I hear about is Battle Right now, which is like just a multiplayer. It's arena.
It's like a mobile
Yeah.
light.
It's like WoW arena.
Yeah. Which
to me sounds awesome because I fucking love WoW.
Yeah, it's skill shots. It's like a MOBA version of WoW arena.
It's
Yeah.
fun. Like, it's a really fun game. There's a pool of champions to choose from that you dive into this arena, and it's just a very like quick matches, which is I think
like
something.
It was like Smite, the way we played Smite.
Right.
Yeah.
So Arena Smite.
Yeah.
I mean, this kind of leads to the question of we're seeing a lot of new Battle Royale games. Seeing Fortnite, there's that Darwin Project game. Obviously, PUBG's doing really well, and whatever other ones are going to come. And we're not seeing any announcements for new MOBAs, and really, as far as I've seen, and we're not, and big MOBAs from big names are shutting down. So Gigantic and Paragon are shutting down. So is this the end of the MOBA era? Are MOBAs going the way of the MMO kind of?
I wouldn't say that they're going away.
I'd say they're going the way of MMO.
Sure. I mean, League of Legends is still a huge
WoW is
corner.
still huge.
I'm just saying like there'll still be people playing MOBAs,
Right.
But it was the zeitgeist for a while. Everyone was making a
Sure,
MOBA,
yeah.
and the same thing happened with MMOs. And now there's very few MMOs, and most people play like the older ones that have been established for years.
Yeah.
Right. If you're looking at the history of gaming, it was like the MMO era, and then the MOBA era,
Right.
and now I think we're seeing the Battlegrounds era.
So do you? I feel like that's the way we're going. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, I
yeah.
think it's been a weird kind of like MOBAs kind of replaced RTSs and MMOs, and now they're even like kind of smushing and compressing even more for these arena games, these where it is just, hey, let's have this super concise 15, 20-minute experience that like sometimes MOBAs can surpass. Like MOBAs can get up to an hour long.
Yep.
But no, people who just want to do quick, like I also want the skill shots. I don't want to have to worry about last hitting.
They're also
Yeah.
like Battle Royale games have a much lower entry level of skill.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to understand buy orders, and you don't need to know like
Yeah.
if you should be in the jungle.
What's my build?
Like, right.
I'm getting yelled at for not last hitting. Like
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the other thing is also that like MOBAs tend to take a lot of time to play.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
one match is an hour to an hour and a half.
Yeah.
If like at minimum 20 minutes. Whereas PUBG, you drop in, you die, cool, you roll right
Well,
into
also
the next
PUBG
match.
has a set time limit every time you play.
Exactly.
The circle, like the last circle is going to close in, and you can go on past the last circle a little longer. It's probably not going to be another 10 minutes when you get to the last circle.
Right.
Right.
So are you're kind of a MOBA guy. You've played some
Yeah,
MOBAs.
yeah.
Are you disappointed that it's going this way? Or are you more into the way that the battle royales are doing?
I don't know. I'm not. The main thing I'm disappointed about is kind of what I got disappointed with MMOs, where with that competition, it kind of pushed WoW to try harder. It pushed WoW to go, oh, this other MMO is doing this. Let's take that, put it in our game, except make it Blizzard.
Right.
And so yeah, for MOBAs, it's like, okay, well, there might have been somebody out there. Like, I think that's a really cool idea to have your main base moving around the map.
Yeah, it's a cool idea.
And,
it just didn't grab a lot of people, I guess.
But then again, like, two of us didn't know it was out.
Right. So maybe there's some marketing there.
Yeah,
or
like-
advertisement that could have been done better, but still.
Yeah, I mean, Gigantics had a problem for a long time. They had some like layoffs a way back, and they've kind of gone on a roller
Right.
coaster.
Yeah, I still play League of Legends every now and then. I'll drop into a match, but like I just don't have time anymore, man. Like it's way easier for me to be like, I'm gonna play Rainbow Six Siege or Hearthstone.
Yeah.
I don't see League or like Heroes of the Storm going anywhere anytime soon, but I think we're definitely seeing the shift into the Battlegrounds era.
Yeah.
And we'll see it loop back around, and it'll be all about Counter-Strike Go again, and then back to MOBAs, and then MMOs, and eventually maybe we'll get that nice little loop.
MMOBAs.
Yeah, MMOBAs. Oh,
All right. So the last news story we have today is about cheating and lying. Don't do it. So Todd Rogers has held the world record. Do you know who Todd Rogers is?
I do now.
World's first gamer. World's first pro gamer.
World's
not gamer.
first
He's not
pro
the first gamer. I don't know why I said that. It's not
He's
true.
the world's first gamer.
That's also lying.
Breaking news.
So he's held the world record. He's most well known for holding the world record for dragster for 35 years.
dang.
Damn. What a world record. That is
He must be
the longest standing
the
record.
best gamer.
He has seen the evolution of gaming.
It's the longest standing record on the Twin Galaxies website, a place that tracks records like this and speedrun times and things like that. He's also had a Guinness record for having the longest standing record. But this week, just this week, it was exposed that he was a liar.
The world's first
and
gamer.
he was thrown out because not only did he lie about his time because he's a jerk, but he lied and said that his time was a 5.51, and that is a physically impossible time to get in Dragster.
If you're gonna lie intelligently.
Lie well.
Lie
I mean,
better.
I guess you're not gonna get caught for 35 years,
Sure.
but
One day, we'll have the technology to determine what is physically impossible in an Atari game.
like the
35
majority of
years
his
later.
life, he's been a record holder.
Right.
So it's like he can pass it. Like
And he had multiple records that were thrown out.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of falsified records. So the guy, there's been a lot of people that question the Dragster record specifically. People have gone out there and made spreadsheets, like basically showing the best possible time is a 5.54, and that's by a computer. And I think the best possible human time is a 5.57,
Yeah.
which has been achieved by a lot of people. But he's also been scrutinized for other records that he might have falsified. He's admitted to putting in a record that was totally fake, like on the Twin Galaxies website. So a record for barnstorming of 32.04, which was also proven impossible. You've played barnstorming before?
Oh, I love that game. I grew up on that game.
Yeah,
That's what
me
made me
too.
a gamer.
A record
gamer.
of
First gamer.
So he has a Donkey Kong score of 15 million exactly on Donkey Kong, which is only around 15 times higher than second place.
That seems feasible. I don't know.
And on Centipede, which he also holds the record for, his record was 65 million, which is only 1.1 million times higher than second place.
I like that it's 65 million exactly.
Right.
Like he was playing, he's like,
I'm done here.
I'm good here.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
It's like when you fill up the gas and you want to get exactly $20.
yeah. I could go higher, but I think I'm good.
So one of the problems that that led to this was that most of the records that he submitted were before video proof was required, video or image proof. So they don't really it's sort of confusing to hear about the dragster one because they made him prove it again in front of a judge.
Yeah.
And the judge verified it. And they're like, okay, well, obviously the judge verified it. He's good. We're good. There's fine. But people dug into this judge.
Man on the inside.
And it turns out this judge ain't so good.
Yeah?
The judge is he's now in jail
Oh.
for falsifying speedrunning records. No, it's not true. He's in jail for being he's in jail for being a pedophile,
Oh.
which is a lot worse than that.
Burying the lead here.
That's a little bit worse. So the cops bust down the door and they're like, "Get down on the ground! You've broken this." Oh no, wait. Oh no, this is way worse than we thought.
Well, this is the kind of thing that I feel about the story. It was like now that I've said that, it's like is falsifying a speedrunning record really the worst thing in the world?
No.
Maybe not. But
No.
you know, the guy's in jail. So Todd was like, well, I gave him all my videos of proof of me doing all these records, and he's in jail, so you can't have them. So yeah, that's all my proof. I don't need to prove anything else.
Wait, how does that work? He's in jail. You can't have him.
Right. There's
Okay.
like he said they were confiscated as evidence.
What was on those tapes? All right.
My high scores were on the same hard drive as what the police confiscated, so we
Okay.
can never get those back.
But thankfully, Twin Galaxies and the Guinness Book of World Records removed him because they were like, we don't want anything to do with this guy.
We don't need this drama.
But Twin Galaxies also put out a statement saying, based on the complete body of evidence presented in this official dispute thread, Twin Galaxies administrative staff has unanimously decided to remove all of Todd Records' scores as well as ban him from participating in our competitive leaderboards. So the questions that this brings up is like, how did this go on for so long? How does this guy have so many goddamn records? Like, I think it's something like how many records? 1,700 records?
Wow.
Yes.
You'd be really good at a lot of games.
1,700 exactly.
1,700.
He wanted the exact
stop
number.
He even put I just found a Facebook post by him where he put like a 6-paragraph, like almost kind of defending himself, but also being like, guys, high scores don't matter. What matters is that you have fun playing video games. So let's forget about all of
So
this.
why did you make sure you had 1,700 world records?
To be fair, the guy got paid. Who cares about his records, man?
Here's
the guy
like-
had a career.
Here's some of the statement, or some of the stuff he wrote. He's like, Twin Galaxies has made their decision to ban me from their database. Although I disagree with their decision, I must applaud them for their strong stance on the matter of cheating.
Yeah.
And then he goes on, and eventually he's just like, though gamers such as this guy and this guy may have given some people the idea that high scores are all that matters, gaming is not life. Gaming is meant to be fun. The competitive aspect of it should be used to bring people together in pursuit of a common goal, not to tear down friendships and communities.
And take away my awards.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, so do you think, does this destroy Twin Galaxies' credibility for you?
Maybe a little bit.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm not really like into getting on Twin Galaxies and be like, what's the high score in this? I bet I can.
You know how
beat
many
it.
times I've visited Twin Galaxies?
To look into this article?
This many.
All right then.
Even then, it was a different article we got these numbers from. Yeah.
So have you guys ever had someone cheat on you in a video game?
Oh, in a video game?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, I don't know. Like maybe playing like N64 and someone reached up and like unplugged my controller and
That's
didn't tell me. It was
not
like-
cheating. That's
yeah.
sabotage.
But
I've had, like, I mean, of course, like screen cheating is like simple.
That's infuriating.
Yeah.
Is there anything worse than that? It's like, I'm hiding under a desk in a dark room. You could not have found me.
Yeah.
hacks, man. Hacks can be really annoying.
No, that was like playing old, like through Game Boy Advance Pokemon and having to worry about like Game Sharkers.
Oh yeah.
Or like, I remember there was a specific cheating device just made for Pokemon Silver and Gold.
Yeah.
That was like, okay, we can make it look like your Pokemon is legit, and here are the stats that like we can. It's not legit because you can have 100 in every stat, but it's like, okay, well, idiot kids aren't going to be able to tell.
Right.
And
I
so-
had someone trade me wow.
Yep.
I
you
forgot
got it.
the name.
You can do it.
Mew?
Mew, yes. I was like
I wanted
a
them to come to
Meowth? No, there's a Meowth. Yeah, no, it traded me a Mew, like level 100 for a Pidgeotto. And I was like, wow, this is a great trade I made. I really suckered that guy.
Yeah.
Little did I know. But it's all a little different. Like, people that cheat in records aren't directly affecting you like they do in multiplayer games. But I guess if you're also going for the record and it's an unattainable record, that's a real pain in the ass.
I mean, you nowadays though, like how much are like about like trying to get the highest score in anything? Now it's all about like esports players or what.
No,
like,
it's
the
well,
pinnacle.
speed
speedruns.
running.
Well, yeah, there's speed
People
running.
love speedrunning, and I could totally understand like if someone posted a fake time and you can't verify it, and you can't beat it, that'd be really frustrating, especially if it's a game you're really good at and you probably have the record in otherwise.
The speedrunning community though, does like a really good job of like making sure that you are submitting the right information. I'm sure maybe we could see some kind of scandal like this in the speedrunning community.
Oh, I think I was looking at this story. I was seeing a lot of like this person cheated and here's how.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting, and also that guy's a weird compulsive liar. Why would he lie so many times? It's so weird, dude.
for the prize money.
Yeah, just
Well,
for the love of games.
I also have to imagine, like, at a certain point, it's like he's getting maybe some kind of sponsorship deal.
Yeah,
Right.
he was
Yeah.
the first pro gamer. He was getting paid to do this, getting paid to lie about being good at games.
So,
If there's one video which is is kind of cringy, where they have him playing Dragster, and he's like, "Oh, it's so weird. Like I'm getting 5.83. It's like as soon as the camera starts rolling, I don't do so hot. It must be the pressure of the cameras."
Got a nerves problem.
So yeah, well that is our glitch please for the week. Thank you guys for joining us. Join us if you're a first member for New Game Plus, where we're going to talk about other stuff as well and more stuff too. We'll see you there.